A very warm welcome to the first match of the first day of the first playoffs of the first season of the Female Starcraft League. We're on Dawson Station, and spawning to the middle left in purple is our Zerg player playing for Invasion Esports. It's Anolia. And to the middle right in orange, playing for Team LDLC, La Programmeuse Française, it's Miyako. And she's playing Terran, of course, just in case you haven't figured it out already. Starting with very early 2 refineries, and the barracks trying to wall off everything right in time as soon as possible, while Anolia just takes her own hatchery at the back part of her own base, of the little plateau that actually is her own base. So spawning pool right behind it after the extractor, so nothing all too kinky out of her. So we have the Overlord trying to find out what's actually happening. She actually only saw one gas, not the other one, which is quite interesting, I actually have to say. So, and oh, I also have to change somehow these names. Something just... oh my god, something just happened there, and I just have to change these names somehow. How do I do that actually? Don't really know. So let's just have a look. Toggle and player names. That should be Alt N. Okay, sorry about that. Nope, doesn't work right now. This is a bit annoying there. I'll just figure it out a little bit later how this is supposed to be right now. I think this just changed during the last patch, so we'll see to it later on. Okay, supply depot. Miyako, of course, tries to wall off her own entrance, her own backdoor entrance, because that's what you can actually do on this map. A player can always just break through his own rocks, and then just, or through her own rocks in this case, and then just move over to the backdoor entrance of the opponent, and then just crush in with nothing to stop them. While the other way around, you could also just use your own backdoor entrance, and then just walk towards your opponent's rocks and break those down, and then just run in. So there are actually a lot of spaces you have to take care of on this map. That's what makes it quite not as popular as the other maps. So let's see. I mean, it was quite clear that Miyako was going for a heavy tech push with all the gas incoming. So we have the factory already down and the starport as well. She just produces a few more marines and a tank, and once the medevac is out, she will probably go for some sort of tank push where she can just either abuse some sort of positioning, maybe around back here, or maybe even around back here, but maybe just coming in right from the front and trying to tear down as many units as possible. So we see what's going to happen. For now, she's just planting down the siege tank in siege mode. We'll now just load it up and pick it up with the medevac, and now just fly over with the rest of the SCVs, with the rest of the Marines, sorry, and some SCVs as well, so it's going to be a bunker push. We've already seen that out of her for quite some time. Maybe she was just expecting her opponent to have a gold base down here, but it's not there yet, so just unloading the siege tank, not really much that can happen with the help of these Zergs. Oh, even an Overlord over here, maybe even a second one over there if Miyako was paying attention, but she's not really interested in shooting it down. We'll probably try to get that Overlord as well, which is probably going to supply block Anolia even. So very annoying for her. She just produces 6 roaches right at a time. This might even help her to take this down here, but Miyako has to be careful, just loads up the medevac, but of course the Marines themselves won't stand a chance against the roaches. So the roaches just take down all of the Marines. Miyako just loads up the medevac. The tank and the medevac. Oh, there's also a second tank. She's probably going to lose it. No, there's a second medevac in there in time already. But this push has been held quite magnificently by Anolia here. Good timing with everything she was just going to produce. So probably even expected something like that out of Miyako. So Miyako now just having planted down her command center over here. So she's a little bit behind economy-wise. If we just have a look over at the income tab, we see that Anolia actually mines 500 minerals more per minute than her opponent. So let's see if Miyako can actually just kind of get back into the game. She still needs to do some more damage than she did before. Actually, no damage really was dealt. I mean, she killed a few lings. She might have even killed a few of these roaches. Some of them have already healed up a little bit, but not really that much damage on economy, only on units. And that's actually something that a Zerg player likes quite a lot. But of course, with the help of that Liberator here, she might even be able to deal more damage here. A few more Ravagers already out, so I think she has to be careful with the Liberator, just unsieges it and pulls it back because she knows that otherwise the Ravagers might easily just take it down. Seems as if Anolia actually wants to abandon her third base down here, or just wants to get some more time. Don't know what she really pulls back all the whole way. Okay, now just tries to get the tank-evacs, but Miyako just too fast for that, loads them up into the medevacs, so no chance for Anolia to almost ever hit them. But there's only one medevac left now, so unfortunately misses the Liberator with her shots. That was really a little bit of bad aiming by her, very unfortunate. So now the third base finishes, and she either has to protect it or just let it go down. Again, the Liberator now finally goes down, a few more siege tanks around, but there's only one medevac available, so Miyako tries to micro the heck out of it, but Anolia just holds it again, and Miyako down to 37 supply now. Finally her command center has finished, but it's not even being morphed into an orbital command, just throws down a few more mules, trying to just get back into this game with the amount of income she's behind. So let's have a look. It's almost about 100-200 minerals per minute still, even with the help of the mules. She really needs to get back into SCV production, but she does not at all. She just wants to go for third command center and then just try to harass a little more in order to get back into this game, but she's far behind right now. So let's see if Anolia can actually just profit from the early aggression that Miyako tried to win the game with, and it quite didn't succeed. So let's see. But of course there's still this annoying tank back here, and there's actually good for her, the rocks have already been taken out, so the medevac won't have, or the tanky-evac won't actually have the chance to just harass this base over here a little more. So also good moves by Anolia, even gets the medevac with the queen over here, so quite well done by her. Liberator just moves over, okay, just tries to seal down this area. She knows that Anolia is probably trying to, or will probably just try to get over to her side of the map and just harass her some more, maybe even go for a straight up attack to kill her. And Miyako of course just wants to get back into this game desperately, so she really takes the orbital command down here to the rich mineral fields so that her income will just also get up quite heavily in the next few minutes. And as we see, she has already managed to just get up in harvests as well. It seems as if Anolia just committed too many minerals and resources into units rather than drones. Seems as if she just wants to go for, well, what actually could be called kind of an all-in, because I mean, not even getting more of your bases saturated, but just putting everything into units while your opponent is also just macroing up. I don't really know if it's going to work out. Miyako has just barely managed to close off this area over here so that Anolia's army won't be able to just walk in straight away, but of course these depots just won't hold for long, and Miyako now has to move everything back from the front. Luckily for her, Anolia is actually not trying to go for a double-pronged attack, so Miyako's gold base actually will be safe and secure, but she's going to lose a lot of supply depots over here and maybe even some tanks. So tanks are finally arriving, she has to siege them up immediately. The first Liberator already goes down to these Hydralisks, and now the rest of Miyako's army just tries to take down this army, but it just might not be enough. 21 workers have already been killed. Miyako just throws down another mule, but Anolia's army is everywhere. She's just taking down the rest of the army units, tries to get into the production, tries to kill off the important add-ons and maybe even the important tech buildings that are producing the units that could actually kill her right now. And if Miyako just doesn't find a solution within the next few seconds, she's just straight going to die against this push over here. 26 workers now have been killed, pulling the boys and the siege tank right in the middle of it, but it just gets focus fired down. GG, and Anolia takes the first game. Second map is Frost, spawning to the bottom right hand side in orange, our Terran player Miyako. And to the bottom left hand side in purple, our Zerg player Anolia, who surprisingly managed to take the first map off of our almost unbeatable Terran, we have to say. Yeah, I mean, Miyako has not lost a single series throughout the season. Only one map went to Grizzly. All her other matches went 3-0 for Miyako. So yeah, that is actually quite surprising. So let's see if Anolia can just get another one. That would already be a big upset. And maybe she will even be able to take the series from Miyako, which would be just... I don't know what to say about that. That would be like the biggest upset of the whole season, we could actually say. Because no one, I think, really expects Anolia to win this series. And we don't want to be mean about her, but it's just, I mean, Anolia ended up 8th place, Miyako ended up 1st place, and she didn't drop a single series. Actually only dropped one map in total out of 34 maps played this season. So yeah, I mean, on paper, this is just a very obvious thing, I think. And Anolia even taking the first map in a convincing way like she did is already something quite spectacular. So I'm very glad it happened. And of course she's the underdog. So everyone's probably rooting for her in the chat. Except of course the die-hard Miyako fans. So let's see what's going to happen later on. Miyako just with the first Reaper inside Anolia's base, trying to get some kills off. Already has taken out one worker, it seems, with the Reaper over here. Now has to escape from the Lings. No problem over here. Maybe we'll be able to take out another worker down here. Just gets it. Has to be careful now to get out. The Queen is just trying to get closer and trying to take it down, but Miyako finally escapes with the first Reaper. In the meantime, we have Anolia with the Overlord over here. Is not really seeing anything right now, but I seem when time just goes by, Anolia will just try to move it in order to get some more information on what Miyako is doing. She's actually just trying to seem to go for kind of a similar build this time around with a command center earlier on, so that she won't be quite as much all in as last time around. Probably doesn't want to take her chances once more. So Reaper again inside the base has now 4 kills. 2 more drones have been killed already, so maybe even taking out another one, but there's the Queen right here, and it doesn't seem as if Miyako will now get out with the Reaper once more. There it gets killed, but it still has been the hero Reaper. Just getting so many kills that early in the game is also quite massive already. So, Roach Warren almost done for Anolia. In the meantime, we have the buildings switching between the factory and the starport, already switching places, and the cloaking field is already getting researched for Miyako. Wants to do some Banshee harassment right behind it. Haven't seen her doing that quite so often throughout the series, so it might even surprise Anolia a little bit. But she has already some Spore Crawlers in position. Be it that she might even be guessing that some Banshees might be coming, or it's just the typical safety Spore for Liberator harassment. Either way, with Miyako's micro, I think she should still be possible, or she should still be able to deal some damage. Okay, just nice move over here. See, she doesn't want to give the Banshee away too early on, but there actually it was possible for Anolia to see it. The question is, was she really watching at that moment? Was she... Oh, damn it, today it's just not my day for casting English, I don't know. Was she paying attention at that point in time? Miyako really tried to avoid the Overlord's vision, but in the end she really didn't. Okay, the Spore Crawler is in place. It's pretty far away from both extractors, so Miyako should be able to take down at least a few more drones with it before it's gonna get killed. Just waits until the very last moment before Cloak gets set in. I mean, the Queen has already just dealt some damage towards the Banshee, but But yeah, Miyako just waited, calculated very heavily what she wanted to do back here. So while she's just microing her Banshee over here, Stim is already in the making, siege tanks are being produced. We also have 2 engineering bays in the making as well. So in the meantime, we have just some movement over at the right-hand side with Anolia's roaches. She just tries to go for a massive push over here. I don't quite know if it's going to happen. I mean, if Miyako is still busy with the Banshee over here, it's now going to lose it because she just wasn't paying attention. But 12 workers killed, of course, was already a massive thing. But she already has a few more Marines over here. There's already 2 siege tanks in position just on the high ground that Anolia can actually not even see. Another Banshee just harassing the 3rd base over here, and it seems as if Anolia just wants to pull back, but she has already invested so many resources into that push that actually didn't even happen. So finally some Ravagers out, but actually Ravagers should also not be able to just get down this Banshee as long as Miyako is taking care of it and is watching it. I mean, if she again just has to just leave it here in order to kill something off and just has to macro at home, and then finally Anolia comes down and throws down some corrosive biles, she might be able to get it. But yeah, in a normal scenario, Anolia should never be able to take down these Banshees. Another Banshee now incoming, so it seems as if Miyako doesn't actually want to stop with the Banshee harassment anytime soon. Will probably even be able to take down the 3rd base over here, which would just be a massive, massive throwback for Anolia here. Just only being on 2 bases, while Miyako is already taking her 3rd over here. Also getting into all the upgrowth. It's really macroing up heavily this time. So it seems as if Miyako just wants to make a statement here as well, saying that, yeah, I might have just lost that first game due to my own mistakes because I just was too greedy, just was too self-confident. I just wanted to get the victory too soon, but yeah, this is not going to happen to me again. This time around, I'm just going to macro it up like crazy. Let's see if you can compete with me on that level. So, Anolia just sitting there, just can't really do anything at all, tries to get a Spore Crawler into position. She's already made a Hydralisk tank, already producing a few Hydralisks at the moment, but her economy is just not good enough. I mean, her 2nd base is not even fully saturated. She just doesn't have the necessary resources in order to throw down a few Hydralisks. And then, of course, the Hydralisks won't really do her any good later on in the game. I mean, Miyako is already producing a lot of Marines and tanks. She's also on 1-1 already. Stim has already finished. The only thing that's still missing is Combat Shield. Don't really know if Miyako has just forgotten about it. But yeah, again, just trying to harass the 3rd base over here. Spore Crawlers are in position, but they just can't get close to that position. Finally, the Hydras arrive, take out the 1st Banshee, might even get the 2nd Banshee as well. No, just barely cloaks and flies away to just come back later on. In order to do some more harassment, maybe. But I don't even know if Miyako actually needs this. This is going to be her first push and maybe even the final one. I mean, there's not much that Anolia actually has that works for her against this army composition. I mean, the damage output of the Marines alone could actually already be enough to take out this army. She will probably not even need the Medivacs anymore, but she just plants them down, tries to get rid of some creep tumors before advancing on creepy, and Miyako just sees this and knows, well, thank you, this is not the army that can take down mine. GG, and Miyako ties the series up 1-1. Welcome back on the 3rd map. It's Frozen Temple, and spawning to the top left-hand side in purple, playing for Invasion Esports, and Belgium, it's Anolia. And to the bottom right-hand side in orange, playing for France and LDLC as Terran, is Miyako. Once again, starting with an early refinery build. Let's see if she's going up to 2 refineries later on or not. The other way around, this might just be for an early factory at the top of the ramp. So let's see if she's going to get another gas over here or not. Normally, if you just take a gas very early on, you normally just want to go into an early factory right after the barracks, because if you get a factory that early on and just put 3 workers in it, you will have earned 100 gas just in time when the barracks finish so that you will be able to throw down a factory immediately. In the meantime, Miyako's just scouting her opponent, doesn't really want to be overwhelmed by some sort of proxy shenanigans or just some sort of cheese. She just sees that the hatchery is almost halfway done, and also gets inside, sees the extractor and the spawning pool, so just the typical opening out of Anolia, nothing all too unusual. Anolia in the meantime just tries to get her overlords into position. Maybe one of these overlords, just wants to have it over here a little bit closer to see if the barracks has an add-on or not, or what's just being constructed over here anyways. So it seems as if the early gas actually wasn't for the early factory, it was rather for a reactor, so that and then the factory right afterwards. So Miyako just wants to have a reactor out in order to get her marine production going. So yeah, Anolia is just going to spot this a little bit in just a few seconds over here. It's just going to see the full wall off. And just the barracks, actually. I don't know if she's going to see the add-on as well. Actually not, which is quite interesting. But now she has to move out, otherwise these two marines that are going to pop out will just try to take it down. Actually, Miyako might still try to do it. She has just moved out with her marines and is probably going to try to chase down that overlord over here. Is probably not going to be able to get it, just barely. I mean, if she had just let one of those marines out here, she might have been able to just track it down and kill it. But in this way, I think Anolia should just be able to move it to a secure position, so these marines just won't be able to take it down. Would have been quite annoying for her if it had happened. So in the meantime, we see a baneling nest over here already, right after the spawning pool. So it seems as if Anolia this time around, again, just doesn't want to go into a macro game, because she's already seen how this is probably going to end. So yeah, why not? Just trying to break through with early lings and banelings, just crushing through Miyako's defenses and try to kill her in the early game. I totally dig it. So I really think that's a good decision. Maybe the problem is that actually the first tank is going to be out quite soon. So I don't really see this push working out the way that Anolia wants. I mean, we've actually seen Miyako getting baneling busted before, and she's always managed to get her ass out of the situation. So let's see if she's going to be able to make it again. Okay, Anolia just losing a lot of links to this bunker over here. We have a lot of SCVs just counter-repairing. Now the first tank is actually in position, and Anolia has actually already lost quite a lot of her links. Don't really know why she just didn't try to morph some banelings over here and just break through with the banelings themselves. I mean, this just cost her so many resources, and even if she just wants to go for a follow-up push, and it seems that if she does, I don't really know if it's still going to be as effective as before. I mean, Miyako now knows what's up. She's just building another bunker over here so that she has additional defenses. She can always just put up this supply depot over here. Okay, now finally the links get through right at the depot that's the furthest away from the tank, so nice move by her. Actually tries to get on top of the links, but the tank is just going to shoot once more, and again she might just deal some economic damage towards her opponent, but mostly just, oh, nicely done here. Miyako even just closing these links in with the newly built supply depot so that the rest of her units can actually kill everything off. Yeah, and that was just totally not worth it. I mean, if we have a look at the resources lost tab, it's just, wow. I mean, look at that difference. That's just disgusting. I mean, how does she actually plan to get back into this game? I mean, she's still ahead in workers by 3, but as we see, Miyako is already have 3 mules available, actually only 2. She's already building a 3rd command center, but due to all the microing, she just, of course, well, not really forgot, but didn't have the chance to get some of these mules down. Now is even just moving out with a tank and a few marines, and actually 2 tanks, a few marines, and a medevac. So yeah, Anolia will just have to cancel that 3rd base over here, and then she will be on 2 bases just as Miyako, and that's something a situation a Zerg player actually never wants to be in. I mean, she doesn't even have any units to defend this. Is now just producing a few Zerglings, tries to go right into Spire, but even the Spire won't really help her out because she just doesn't have the necessary resources. The Lynx alone just can't fight against these Marines with the support of the Medevacs, and also the tanks around here. Just Miyako unsieges the tanks for additional firepower. Everything inside the natural gets killed, and Anolia just has to tap out Miyako takes the third game, sorry, for a 2-1 lead. Welcome to Apotheosis, the fourth map of this first series of the first FSL playoffs. Spawning to the top left-hand side in purple is our Zerg player Anolia. And to the bottom right-hand corner in orange, our Terran player Miyako. Who just seems to change, oh no, not quite, there's the refinery. So this time around we have the barracks before the refinery. Looks like a Reaper build this time around. Don't really think it's going to be an early factory this time. So we'll see what's going to happen. I mean, if we have a look at the length of the map and how long it normally takes to get from one part of the map to your opponent's part, then a Reaper actually makes sense. And Anolia actually has something prepared for her map choice. Takes the rich mineral field expansion on Apotheosis and probably again just wants to overwhelm Miyako with a lot of lings and banelings. This could actually be a little bit more easy for her this time around, a little bit easier, since this is a big ass wide open entrance. And it's very difficult to just close everything off with buildings before the first wave of Ling Baneling arrives at your place. Miyako even going for very early expand down right at her natural base. So yeah, she's going to have a few Marines out due to the early reactor over here. No Reaper this time. Miyako really wants to ramp it up and get out as many units as fast as possible. She will also get down an early factory right afterwards, so tanks will be in position. Maybe one, maybe two, probably only one. It depends on how fast Anolia actually moves across the map towards her opponent. Has already slotted a few drones over here in order to get the economic boost that the gold minerals provide a player. So, let's see if this is going to work out. Miyako just spots it. She now knows what her opponent is probably up to and that she's probably going for something that is not a macro game. Anolia just even hides the links from her opponent's scouting worker over here so that Miyako might... Oh no, actually just pulls them out right now, just tries to take it down as soon as possible, and actually does. No Baneling nest yet, but she's still mining gas. Oh, actually wants to go into a Roach Warren. That's quite interesting. So now actually she just tried to mislead Miyako into thinking that an early Ling Baneling bust would be coming. So it might be quite possible that Miyako maybe just prepares differently towards that, or maybe just Miyako read her like a book and actually knows what's going to come. She hasn't seen the Roach Warren, so she can't really know for certain. But yeah, we'll see how she's going to prepare. I mean, there's actually nothing. Only one bunker coming up now. I mean, Miyako knows her timings. She actually knows when her opponent can rush her with early Lings and Banelings. Actually, if a Ling Baneling bust was coming, I think this bunker placement is would be quite problematic over here. But yeah, in the meantime, Anolia is just taking the third base a little bit earlier as normal after committing to so much tech early on. But the income from the rich mineral fields just allows her to do that. So it seems as if Anolia just wants to prepare for some sort of massive Roach Ravager push, maybe? I can't really imagine her seeking the long drawn-out macro game against a player like Miyako. In the meantime, Miyako just gets the chance to wall off everything, also with a siege tank in line. So the longer this goes, the more problematic it's actually going to be for Anolia to break through this entrance defense here. But yeah, I mean, Anolia knows everything. She has an Overlord in position. In the meantime, Miyako is just moving out with a medevac over here, just tries to make something happen. And maybe she's going to be the first player to actually abuse this cliff over here, or this ledge over here. Not many players have already done that, but yeah, since there's the gold base and you can just put a tank like over here or over here and then just attack everything, the complete mineral line and also the extractors as well, even the hatch if you want to. So yeah, there's the tank, it's just being placed down. Of course you need the medevac to provide some high ground vision, but yeah, no problem over here. Queens are just slow as fuck. Anolia can't really move that queen off of creep. Miyako, the only thing that Miyako has to be careful about, yeah, she just tries to lure the queen into the siege tank fire. Nicely done here. Just moving inside and then a little bit more out so that the queen might always just follow the medevac once she tries to attack it. Miyako will just realize that this is going to happen. Yeah, the queen again is just close enough in order to be taken out. So in the meantime, she just moves into the upgrades, level 1 upgrade and Stimpack as well. So it seems as if Miyako just wants to prepare for another big marine tank push, it seems. Yeah, second medevac in position as well. So the only stuff that Anolia has out right now is a few roaches and the tank. So Miyako just reacts in time, just unloads the tank over here. But it seems as if the roaches might just barely take it out. She doesn't really want to risk that, doesn't want to lose one medevac. Sees that a lot of roaches have already been popping, so she also retreats with a second tank as well and removes towards her own base, where she's already had a lot of marines in position. Even draws a few SCVs for repair and bunker building. So, this could actually be quite interesting, but still, again, Anolia just has a lot of roaches already in place. Hasn't bothered, though, to actually saturate her natural base over here, just replacing a few lost drones over here in order to compensate for the lost mining time inside the extractors. So, let's see what this is, how this is going to work out. I mean, this tank harassment has been paid off already. Has been quite nice for Miyako already. So just now moving in with a little bit more protection over here. And like I said before, I mean, you can just abuse this situation so greatly. No problem over here. Has to be careful though. There's a few Hydras in the mix as well. Anolia just moves forward, tries to kill off the siege tanks as soon as possible, although she has to move right into marine fire. So just loses a few units of her own, but finally just drives this push back. And actually, no, does not follow, just retreats a little bit, and maybe now she's going to drone up a little bit, but it doesn't seem like it. It seems as if Anolia really wants to stay on these two bases, just get a big army out early on and then just kill her opponent with the first push. And that might actually work out, although Miyako already has a little bit of a supply lead here. But if we just have a look at the units, it's mostly SCVs that she's leading in. So army-wise, she's actually not that far ahead, but she's ahead, and that's actually the more important part. Still, this might actually be the anti-timing for either Miyako or Anolia. No, actually not. Seems as if Anolia has just spotted the scan and now actually knows over which lane her opponent is trying to attack her. Still, again, the mighty problem. We have two siege tanks in the rear. We have a lot of marines, so stimp marines with the 1.0 upgrade, just tearing apart all of Anolia's army. I mean, yeah, Hydras provide a lot of firepower, but they're also squishy units. The problem is that they just die, especially to heavy siege tank fire in a very short amount of time. So if you don't have something up to defend them with, like beefy roaches, then they just won't stand a chance for long. They can actually take out marines quite quickly, even medevacs and also tanks if they just get close enough. But yeah, it's still problematic, and she's just losing more and more of her army. We'll probably just get down this Liberator, nicely done, before it can even siege up. But still, again, she just doesn't have enough units. Only 3, 4, 10 Hydralisks now in production. This might actually help out, but they also only are popping right now a few more Hydralisks over to the left-hand side. I don't really like her attacking as soon as they pop. She really needs to collect them or to assemble them at some point on the map and then just attack when all of those are out. Maybe I think it would be best to just abandon that base over here. Don't really know. Oh, she's even now pulling drones over here, just losing everything. 14 drones have already been killed. I think the better answer to this would have really been just to retreat towards her natural base and then try to clear it up once she finally had enough of her units. But then again, I don't know if it actually would have even mattered. I mean, Miyako is also on 2 bases. I think she hasn't produced another base of herself, but this is just not really going to work out. It seems as if Anolia might just barely be able to clean this push up. The tanks are very, very low, as well as that one medevac over here. But yeah, I mean, I just thought about it. Why not repair it? Miyako just throws down another mule, tries to get the repair down. Will probably even end up repairing both of these siege tanks before Anolia can finally do something against it. And finally, Anolia has just realized that she won't be able to deal with this army in small little chunks, so she just has to assemble everything right at her natural base. But it just might be too late. I mean, she's already sacrificed so many units in this combat, so don't really know if it's going to work out. Miyako's army units are just rallied, an orange stream that crosses the map almost like a river here. So the longer this game goes, the longer it's just going to be more impossible for Anolia to clear this up. This should be the final push. 100 supply to 63, 64 army supply to 10. GG, and Miyako takes the 4th game as well as the series with a convincing 3-1.